Okay, so in this lesson, we're going to talk about star formation and the life cycle of a star. So, we've got this little star simulator here, just to kind of give like a little visual for you. We'll start with a star about the size of the sun, so it's going to have one solar mass, as you can see down here. So basically, when a star is being born, it's just a bunch of dust and gas that's out in space, and because of gravity, it's going to eventually come together and it's going to start collapsing. So we will see that here. So we've got the dust, and then see, and then it collapses. So now the star begins nuclear fusion. So it's going to be fusing hydrogen together. Um, and when it's fusing the hydrogen, it's considered in the main sequence of its life. So that's over 90% of its life. So um, all this yellow at the top here, that's all the main sequence. Um, Now we'll speed up the time here for a second. Now eventually the hydrogen in the star is going to run out. And when the hydrogen fuses, it forms helium. So there's going to be more helium while the hydrogen is slowly going away. Um, Now, once there's more helium than there is hydrogen, the core will actually collapse, um, which causes the star to expand because there's not as big of a force pulling the atmosphere of the star in. So the star, see, you can see here it's starting to expand. So there's more helium now. There's more helium. So and then eventually it's gonna get so big it's just gonna rebound. Um, and basically the the outer part of the star is just gonna kind of be released into space, so that'll form what's called a planetary nebula, um, in which that's just a bunch of uh, dust and space, and what's left over is the core of the star right there, which is called a white dwarf, and eventually that'll cool into what's called a black dwarf. Now, the process is pretty much the same. However, if you take a star that has much greater mass than the sun has, there's going to be a lot more matter in the star. So what we'll see here as the star continues in its life is that when it reaches that sort of breaking point, it's going to get real big also, but this will go into supernova because when the star collapses, there's so much force that it just kind of explodes the outer part of the star out into space, and then what you're left over with is called a neutron star. And again, that's just the core of the star. It's very dense. Now, the other thing that can happen, we have a very, very massive star. Um, we'll see the same thing as before. However, at the end of its life, when it goes into supernova, there's so much mass that um, it it all comes back together and forms a black hole. So it's just a super dense point in space, where light can't escape. So that's why it's called a black hole, because there's just no light that can escape from it. Um, so essentially, that's the life cycle of a star.